What's up, everybody? Welcome to our semi-last, our beginning of the new beginning, or however that would go, of Undisputed. We are stoked you guys are all here. Big shout out to our sponsors. We're in the Park, Getaway Today, and yours truly, Sunken City Designs. We are excited. Our last show of a new beginning. Sean, David, how you guys doing?
I'm good, happy and sad. Closing of a chapter, but the next chapter is about to be phenomenal.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be a little mad.
I'm excited. Thanks for changing the time for me. I appreciate that.
Ain't no problem, man. I hope everyone that's watching appreciates it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Another half hour later.
I thought this was the new regular time. I didn't know this.
No, I think it's going to be this from now on, which is great.
Is it? I'm okay with that. All right.
Yeah, so going forward, we will be going live at 8 p.m. every other Monday following this Monday. Real quick, before we introduce our guests that are joining us tonight on this pretty interesting conversation, the reason for the change is, as we mentioned in the live show, we're trying to get things a little bit more back on the rails, but also being more authentically Disney, but very distinctly Walt's Apartment with what we do and how we do it. So going forward, starting, let's see, the date. I want to say it's the Monday. It's February 5th. When we come back, we will be titled as the Mad Tea Party with nicknames and all types of categories that still bring the madness of the show, still bring the very heavy opinions of the show, but bringing in a lot more fun and allowing you, the viewers, to get involved in the conversation.
We're sorry, Jen. We're sorry, Jen. She says you're killing me.
Oh, I thought she meant for the show time, but then the show name, but then I realized the show time is probably killing her.
11 o'clock for Jen, but thank you, Jen, for being on still.
Nope. So, but before we get started, let's introduce our guests tonight. We have two of our co-hosts from Family Game Night, and you'll see their faces on Wednesday. We have Sam and Courtney. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
I'm fantastic.
So I'm stoked you guys are here. I mean, one of the topics, Courtney, you ignited it in the group chat a few weeks ago, and it's our opening conversation. But before we get started, we definitely want to thank our lamplighters. We appreciate everything you guys do, and we are looking to start off the year strong with new prints, new designs, and new activities and stuff on the Discord with you guys. So appreciate all our lamplighters.
Is someone watching TV?
It's in the other room. I can't control it. Sorry.
What are we watching?
Probably MASH.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, that was my bedtime show right there.
It was that and the Muppets.
It's a good one.
David?
It was good.
You watched the Muppets, and then you watched MASH right after that with your mom and dad. You're like, this show's so boring.
I used to watch MASH. It was MASH, then Walker, and then Jag with my great grandmother.
There you go.
Oh,
I used to watch Chips and Dukes of Hazzard on Friday nights.
Yep.
I
Dad
used to
loves
watch
MASH.
X-Files.
Oh, X-Files is good too.
that explains so much.
Everything. The witchcraft, everything.
Everything. That
Joe
explains
Frazier,
it all.
Kick-ass show. Thank you, Joe. Miss you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I was definitely the kid saying, David Duchovny, why don't you love me?
Yep. It all makes sense now.
So our conversation that started in group chat that definitely, I think, sparked a solid conversation until Joey from the Disney universe and one of our co-hosts shared, hey, let's bring that to Undisputed. And so one of the conversations was what makes a Disney legend. So before I did share the definition that's on the Walt Disney Archives website, but going around the room real quick, we'll start with David. David, what makes a Disney legend?
Thanks, Sean's mom, for that comment there. That's good insight. What makes a Disney legend? So, as the youngest novice among the group here, in my opinion, I think what makes a Disney legend is someone that's unforgettable. I mean, literally, for me, in my opinion, you could be in one or a part of one thing that is Disney, but that lives on forever. Like, like you're synonymous with it. It's synonymous with you. Like, that, and it echoes for generations. So that for me, that makes a Disney legend. Something that is like, if that makes sense, something that is kind of for it doesn't have to be the work you put in. Don't have to be 20 years of this. You can literally do one thing with Disney and it be a memorable, iconic, classic, a legacy. So yeah, that's what makes that for me.
All right. Well, Sam, what makes a Disney legend in your eyes?
For me, it is someone who leaves a lasting impression in more than one way. So a little bit opposite than David. So like, I am not going to sit here and be like, yo, Josh Gad is a legend, because like he's had some great roles, but as far as the Disney legend goes, no. And for me, when I think of Disney legends, I like to think of them being multifaceted. So they have a touch in different areas of the company, not just in one area. So when we're talking later about like who are Disney legends that we think shouldn't be Disney legends, and who should be, you might hear some more of that from me, because I feel like a Disney legend should be multifaceted. They should be multi-talented, and they should have exposure in different areas of the company.
All right. Courtney, what makes a Disney legend?
I agree with all of that they have a lasting impression. You know of them, their reputation precedes them. You know of them even though you don't know them. They made a they made a lasting they just contributed to the growth of the company and all of that. So I do I agree with both of what Sam and David said. I kind of find that to be my definition of a Disney legend as well.
All right. Sean, what makes a Disney legend?
Well, here is the actual definition of legend. An
Oh
extremely
God.
no, I looked it up. An extremely famous or notorious person, especially in a particular field. Now, you're going to think that, you call me a pixie duster and all that stuff, and everything Disney does is great, blah, blah, blah. This is one thing I will say Disney doesn't do well, is when they pick their legends, because they pick their legends as a fan service to the fans, not because they honestly believe that they're a legend. Case in point, we're going to talk about this pretty much, the whole cast of Frozen and I think the one I was at last year, Ellen Pompeo and Patrick Dempsey. That was because the fans wanted to see it, not because they're Disney legends. So that's my opinion. I think, but yeah.
Sean's
Disney.
ready.
I'm ready, baby. Let's go. I haven't been here for a while. Let's go.
According to the Walt Disney Archives website, the legends are chosen by a select committee formally appointed and chaired by the late Roy Disney. Since its inception, the program has honored many gifted animators, Imagineers, songwriters, actors, and business leaders as having made a significant impact on the Disney legacy.
Why are there no CEOs listed?
Hard Walker was.
Oh,
Steve Jobs is CEO.
Hard Walker's a Disney legend.
Dick Nunes is one too, and he was president of the Disneyland. So.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I'm talking CEO. I'm talking Michael Eisner. Why wasn't Michael Eisner listed as Disney legend? He's not.
Hard Walker was.
Okay, I'm asking like why. I don't.
You said CEO, so Steve Jobs was the CEO of Pixar. He's a Disney legend.
Right? Is he a legend?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Steve Jobs is a Disney legend.
Yes, he is a Disney legend.
What?
Yeah. The list is pretty crazy if you actually look at it. I just looked at it for the first time like 15 minutes ago because you know me, I never planned for anything. So
is Walt a Disney legend?
No.
Lillian is.
I think the first time we met Courtney and Kelly was we did the D23 premiere, and it was me, Louis, Brianna, Joey, Courtney, and Kelly, and we had that discussion of why the hell isn't Walt Disney a legend? Because it makes no sense. Are we taking your show the wrong way, Louis? I'm sorry.
No. This is perfect because they mentioned Card Walker, and I looked at Card Walker and I totally blitzed it.
Card Walker was a CEO, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but then again, though, he was also there when it was split, but it was Card Walker, and I'm blanking the other name. but they were the first two after Walt and Roy passed on. But I'm curious if he falls under that Frank Wells line. But then again, Frank Wells is not on. Or yes, he is. Frank Wells is on here.
Frank Wells is on there.
So I wonder if you can be it if you're the CFO, but not the CEO.
Card Walker was the CEO.
Yeah.
I thought Card Walker was the CFO.
No, Card Walker was
he
was the CEO when Epcot opened. He's the one that didn't give Walt the Epcot that he wanted. It was kind of his decision. Y'all think Bob Chapek sucks.
Think about that. It's kind of weird. Walt's not a legend.
So CJ says, "Hey, Sean Williams, should Mickey and the gang be Disney legends this year?" No, they're not people. They're
no, but Brett Iwan should.
Yeah, I do. I
totally agree
disagree
with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Voiced Mickey long enough that he.
But the characters themselves, I feel like, should not be.
No, and they haven't ever done a character.
Right.
It's been the voices of.
Frank Wells is a legend, right?
He is, yeah. Frank Wells is.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why and that's why I was saying, why not CEOs? I mean, Michael Eisner did a lot for the company. Unless if love him or hate him, he did a lot for the company when he was in charge.
But my thing is, do you think that Card Walker and Frank Wells are legends because of
or E. Disney, who's a legend?
Well, no, I'm talking about like Frank Wells. I can see him becoming a legend because of the tragedy that surrounded his death. So usually when people are involved in a very tragic death, they usually get honored in some way.
Sure.
So that I get for Frank Wells. As far as him doing anything valuable for the company, I don't think he was a legend. Honestly, they could have done something else to honor him because it takes away from the legacy of the Legend Award. He didn't really do much as a CEO that I find personally to be valuable.
I have a question. Sorry. So the voice actor who plays Mickey Mouse is not a Disney legend?
No, he's not.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But
he could be
correct
this
me if I'm
year.
wrong. Rusty Taylor, who plays Minnie Mouse.
Okay, so I think Wallace is on there. I think the original Mickey Mouse is on there, but I'm saying the new Mickey Mouse. Brett Iwan, who voices Mickey Mouse now, he's considered the official voice of Mickey Mouse, and he is not.
And he's done it for a hot minute now. It's not like he just did it for a few years. He's done it for a lot of time now.
He's the voice in the original Fantasmic. Oh no, not the original, but the new one is 2017.
Then he should definitely be a legend.
But, like Sam was saying, though, I think the ones that pass on should be honored in a different way. I mean, actually, I got some hate last year when we talked about this because I mentioned that Chadwick Boseman shouldn't be a Disney legend.
I actually agree with that. I don't think he should have. I think he
deserves. I think he deserves an award for what he did during the journey he was battling. But I mean, if we're gonna say Josh Gad and then all them for Frozen doesn't deserve it, then that puts Chadwick Boseman and a few other of the Marvel stars in that same category.
Honestly, if you want my opinion, if you are just an actor, or you are just a composer, or you are just a producer, you're not a legend. You are a producer. You're a composer.
I disagree with that because
I disagree with composer.
I said
composer.
Multifaceted.
I think it should be.
No, for me,
so James Earl Jones shouldn't be a legend.
For me, it comes with being multifaceted. So, okay, composers I can understand.
Fawcett shouldn't be a legend.
No. So for me, okay, composers. Okay, I'll take back composers because composers have a legacy that stands in the parks.
Sure.
They have a legacy that stands in media. And on Broadway, I will say composers are multifaceted. But when it comes to producing a film, that is just that film. When it comes to being an actor, that is just that role. You're not the one playing that character in the park.
I agree with you, Sam. I'm not.
You're not the one.
I agree.
You're not the one playing that character in the park. They hired some 5'0" girl to put a costume on and be that character.
I agree with that for the one and outs. If this is your first Disney movie and your only Disney movie, absolutely. But then when you got so Dick Van Dyke shouldn't be a legend.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's.
I think if you're an actor or a producer, I think it's the impact of the role you played. For instance, Chadwick Boseman, if I think he was on the path to be a Disney legend, had he got the opportunity to put out another Black Panther and Avengers, for instance, take Johnny Depp, even though there's the gray cloud around whatever you believe with that man, Pirates does not stand without him. So
Can I
therefore,
touch on that for a second?
Sure.
As far as being a legend, their impact on those films is not going to last another 45, 50 years.
That's not true because
some of those characters, I think will.
Dick Van Dyke is burnt.
Johnny Depp is Jack Sparrow. You can't question that.
No.
I agree with David. What now? I fucking just forgot his name. Earl Jones
James Earl Jones
is Darth Vader. You can't now. Should Josh Gad, who is the voice of Olaf for 3 movies? No.
But how do you? Okay, well, okay. James Earl Jones is not the voice of Vader in every single time Vader is on film.
Actually, yes, he is. Every time he's in the
voice.
suit, he is. He's the voice.
He's the voice. He's the voice. But there,
unless he's Anakin, yeah. If he's Anakin, it's not.
But there have been multiple people to wear the Vader costume. There have been multiple people who like we're friends with Andrew. Like Andrew's wore the Vader costume more than anybody in franchise history.
You can't look at Vader and I wonder who's in there. If you look at Vader and hear him speak, oh shit, that's what the hell's his first name? I keep forgetting his first name. James Earl Jones. Sorry.
James Earl Jones. Mufasa.
And he's Mufasa too.
Like literally iconic. Like Olaf. Okay, but 2 iconic figures.
But the thing is, they're iconic to us. Are they going to be iconic to future generations?
I was just going
to say. Why should Brett Iwan be? Okay, why should Brett Iwan be one then? If he's just the voice of Mickey Mouse.
Because he's Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is never Mickey Mouse.
Are you telling me that Mickey Mouse isn't just as popular? That Darth Vader isn't just as popular as
Mickey Mouse has lasted longer. Mickey Mouse has already lasted longer.
Not by Brett Iwan's voice.
I'm with you guys on James Earl Jones for Mufasa and that character. Absolutely. For Star Wars, I don't think Star Wars is what to put something in there because a lot of his Star Wars work was pre-Disney owning Lucasfilm.
Facts.
Okay.
He wasn't even working for Disney.
I will give you James Earl Jones as Mufasa because that character, I mean, that voice and that character is like
it's one role.
Lou and Phil Harris. It's they are now one together.
I wouldn't give it to Phil Harris either.
Then why would you give it to Brett Iwan?
Wait, Phil Harris has been like half of everything in the 60s. And so is Sterling Holloway. That's why they're Disney legends.
I would give it.
I would definitely. And but does this like every princess is a Disney legend?
That's unnecessary.
Yeah, well, that's what they are, and it's because they made an impact on society as well as helped the company grow.
Did they?
And here's
honestly,
but I do agree that like Ellen Pompeo and Patrick Dempsey, hell no. I don't believe that Grey's Anatomy cast needs to be a Disney legend.
Hold on. Patrick Dempsey on here has actually done a lot more with Disney than just Grey's Anatomy. So
maybe I'll take
that. But that's what he got it for, is being in the cast of Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, but let me go back to that statement you just made, Courtney, about the princesses doing so much. The princesses, honestly, if you look at most of the Disney princesses, they suck. As far as being role models for young girls, if you were to completely analyze them through the Bechdel test and feminist film theory,
jeez,
he is a legend.
But they're not in the feminist film theory. They are the guiding.
Why would you want to look
up princesses?
But why? Why would you want a little girl to look up to Cinderella?
I mean, I looked up to him. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I know that their stories are like. Their old stories were men dependent, yes, but I looked up to him too, so it's fine.
See, I'm a little too feisty for that. I don't want my daughter to look up to Cinderella. I don't want my daughter to look up to and be like, "Oh, I'm going to give away my voice to sing for or to be with."
Yeah, but looking up to Moana, I'm like, no.
Hey,
see, I'm like, look up to Moana. She's going on an adventure. Let's go on an adventure.
I just feel like Moana's a little played out right now.
Hold on. I'm going to bring that one another episode, but my daughter looks up to all those princesses.
Like, they can look up to Moana and Cinderella. She's loyal, kind, and brave and true.
She has no personality. She's
Stan Lee. Why is Stan Lee not one?
Stan Lee is one.
Joey
but he's one. he brought more his contribution, his IPs, his creations from his mind brought more money to the Disney Entertainment movie side than any of the other Disney movies ever. Period. Since 2009, since they acquired Marvel, all his contributions, his characters, and everything else. So
Are you
he
saying it's okay
definitely.
because he was a consultant on those movies?
I'm sorry.
Are you
Yeah,
saying
they
that's okay
make.
because he was a consultant on those movies?
Wait a
'Cause
second.
he wasn't in charge.
No, he was a
Kevin
consultant.
Feige
He was a creator. He didn't have to be in charge. He created the characters. He helped him and
Okay,
Jack
well,
Kirby.
Lucas
I
is
mean-
one too. So
I
does
mean,
he
he-
get to be one?
I mean,
Since
he may
Star
have-
Wars doesn't get to be one?
Hold on.
come on.
What do you mean? Doesn't Star Wars get to
Let's
be
just
one? What
let
are you
Courtney
talking
and Sam
about?
go at
That's
it.
what
man.
Lewis said. Lewis said that they bought Star Wars, so all the original IP and the prequels do not get
I don't
to be
agree
there
with Lewis.
because of-
I was gonna say though,
Why are you giving me flag? I
don't think Stanley should be it because I mean, yeah, he created those characters, but the directors and producers are the ones that directed and produced the stories we saw on TV or in the theaters.
So
So
should Kevin Feige be one?
Hot take: Kevin Feige should be one.
I think Kevin Feige over Stan Lee. Yeah,
Oh,
So then
come
Kathleen
on.
Kennedy should be one then?
No freaking way.
Come on.
Cat-
So George,
no,
is
Kathleen
George Lucas?
Kennedy's not
What about
one.
George Lucas?
George Lucas is
Oh,
already one.
Okay. Well, how come Kevin Feige isn't then? Or Stan?
And how come
Stan Lee
Kathleen
isn't?
Kennedy isn't one?
that's because South Park won't let
And
her.
then there's John
Ah,
Lasseter.
John Lasseter. He can't
Weird.
be one.
Okay. Well,
No.
no. Listen, when you have that many sexual assault charges, you don't get any
Yeah.
public
Wait.
credibility.
Does he have charges or are they just rumors? Does he have actual charges?
No, he has actual charges.
He has actual
Or the
charges. John
or
Lasseter
the
has
accusation.
actual charges. He has actual charges. John
Actual
Lasseter.
charges.
Why isn't he in jail then?
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure they were just accusations,
I
not
thought they were
charges.
just accused.
Because he used his power to ask, so there were girls who pressed pressed charges against him, and he basically threatened to ruin their careers, and they withdrew their statements.
So that's why he's not in jail.
All right. Bob Chapek
Yeah.
should be.
Nah, Bob Jacob. No.
Bill bringing that fire, like always.
No.
Hi,
Hey, so-
Jessica.
Here's one
He's not been
that I
convicted,
saw on the
but
list.
he's still a piece of shit. Bottom line.
Here's one on the list that I don't agree with, and it's Betty White.
Well, all the Golden Girls are one. So why are you just disparaging Betty White?
I don't know the other Golden Girls names, or else I don't know.
Right above them. And Golden Girls turned TV around for them. So
But
actually,
they weren't
Golden
on
Girls
ABC.
get to have one.
Golden
Yeah, they
Girls
weren't even
weren't
on ABC. That's true.
So then give
But
it
they
to
were
the
filmed by ABC. They were
Okay, so
on,
then-
they filmed
then
on the
give
Disney
it-
lot.
give it to the show writers and the producers of the show. For me, actors and actresses it's a wash for me as far as them being legends.
I don't know
They're
if he's
artists.
at Universal, but he's
They're
doing
artists.
films.
No, he's at
animated.
Blue Sky, wherever
Yeah.
Blue Sky is.
B. Arthur and Estelle Getty.
Al Getty and Rose McClanahan. All of them.
Boom.
All of them.
Yeah,
But not John Williams. Totally makes sense.
Yeah. No, he needs to get one, and he needs to get one before he passes. So maybe, but there's always this year. We do have a legend ceremony.
Well, we thought
year,
this last year.
so-
Wait, is Rick Moranis a legend?
Oh my God,
No.
please.
I don't
No.
know.
What?
Pitch to Johnny. You can't
He
pitch
needs
to
be a
Johnny.
legend. Oh my freaking god!
I'm Johnny. I love that movie.
All right. So with that said, we've you guys ready for our first sponsor break? We kind of cooled the jets before we get into the
I
next
don't know. Are
one.
we done with this conversation? We didn't talk about why John Williams isn't a legend. We just overlooked that.
I mean, we don't make those choices. I mean, I think
You
he
know,
should.
We all
be.
think he should be. Yeah, you think he shouldn't be for some weird reason, but you think Brett Iwan should be. Totally makes sense.
I didn't say I don't think he should. He should be. I think he should.
Who?
John
John
Williams.
Williams.
I think he should be.
But you guys think Brett Iwan should be,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
but not James Earl Jones?
I think James Earl Jones
I'm
should
fine.
be because
I'm
he's
honestly,
big.
Actors are artists, and so it doesn't make sense that you say they're disqualified. They bring the characters to life.
I
Well,
think it has to be a certain degree. I don't think I guess
you have to
there
have
goes
oomph
this girl.
behind who you are.
Yeah.
Is Alan
I don't
Menken?
know.
Not sure.
Alan Menken is a Disney legend.
Alan Menken is, yes. And so is Hans Zimmer.
Mhm.
Hans Zimmer is one too. But like for me,
They just
I guess
made
it just
John
depends
Hahn
on
one
how
last
you
year.
view what their contributions
I love John
are
Hahn.
because Golden Girls is a higher standard to me than Grey's Anatomy. So
why
I don't
wouldn't you
think-
actually give
I
that
don't know.
the Golden Girls Disney Legend to the show writer or show producers instead of the actors?
Okay, what about
Because they
Kenny
didn't do that
Ortega?
with Frozen or any of the Disney.
You know why?
princesses, so.
Because this was incepted by Roy E. Disney. That's
We'll
why.
get to that. We'll get to that.
Roy E. Disney.
John Stamos should be one. I disagree with that.
John Stamos.
Why?
What?
No,
I loved
because John
I met
Stamos was
John
just a
Stamos when I was a
he
kid.
never really did anything. He just buys everything. It's fine.
Yeah.
He played with the Beach Boys. I actually saw.
You guys
him.
don't think John Stamos should be?
Wasn't Full House
No,
on ABC?
he's just
though?
a Disney fan. He's
But-
not
but-
did anything to
Bette
the
Midler
BGIS,
and Kenny
ABC.
Ortega should be.
Kenny Ortega is a director of many Disney Channel movies.
Yeah,
and
High School Musical, Zombies,
Oh,
Descendants.
so
like,
Descendants, I'll give you. The rest of them, they could be erased from history, and I'd be completely okay.
What? High
So
School
yeah, the
Musical?
High School
Descendants are
Musical
great.
put Descendants on
Nobody
love
from
the
Descendants.
High School Musical,
Nobody from
trash.
Descendants.
High School Musical, trash.
Yes, thank
I'll
you.
give you the
Please.
third one is, but the first one that
Cosign.
made him on the map is
Cosign.
okay.
Trash.
No.
What's up, Piano
All
Rob? How
trash.
are you, sir?
Hi, Piano Rob.
Bob Saget?
All those
Uh,
musicals,
no.
they're like the trashy novels in the checkout line.
Well,
of the grocery
maybe
store.
Bob Saget because
Low-hanging
of
fruit.
Funniest Home
Not
Videos.
art. Trash.
Maybe
I mean, that's
Bob
it.
Saget because of Funniest Home
But
Videos.
here's my
No,
thing.
you
It's
can't
it's
do
like-
Bob Saget.
Are you honestly? Oh, here's my thing. Are you honestly a legend? Are you honestly a legend if you've done one thing that is considered highly
You can if you're like
contributable
Bob
item?
Gurr and just made the cars and the Omniverse.
But the thing is,
Oh,
Bob Gurr
thank
Just-
you.
did any
Just?
Bob Gurr
Yeah,
did anything
dust.
that was Bob Gurr did
Oh.
anything that was transportation at Disneyland.
Yeah,
He's
but
touched
transportation
multiple
was
cars,
a-
wheels,
but he's done multiple
Omniverse
rides. So
itself.
if we're going
But
Bob Saget,
transportation
like,
was already invented. He didn't invent it.
Bob Saget has a very
Bob-
checkered past. That's all I'll
Bob
say.
Gurr though has like he honestly he was like a high school dropout, right? Taught himself
Are we saying
taught
Bob Gurr
himself.
shouldn't be? Is anyone in here
No,
saying Bob Gurr shouldn't
absolutely
be
not.
one?
No,
I'm not saying he shouldn't be.
Get out of here, Louis.
Lewis.
But Tony Baxter should be?
No, Tony
Yeah.
Baxter should be.
Tony
Bob
Baxter
Gurr should be.
definitely should be.
Because of
Yes.
more than Bob Gurr.
No, not more than Bob Gurr.
Piano
I'm
Rob
just
wants
talking to
know-
Lewis right
we're,
now.
We're having a conversation about what makes a Disney legend and who should or should not be Disney legend.
Well, if you're Bob Gurr, it's just taking credit for all the things you didn't do.
Oh my gosh,
no-
Lewis.
Because nobody else is
no.
alive to fight you on it. That's why.
No.
Hey,
Piano
give
Rob,
Bob Gurr
if you don't know
give
Lewis,
Bob-
he hates everything.
give Bob
Sorry.
Gurr a few more years. He's like, I brought you Disneyland.
Yeah,
No.
Lewis stirring the pot.
Lewis
Lewis
stirring the pot.
Bob Gurr would never do that.
I'm not stirring the pot. I've been consistent on Bob Gurr since day one.
That was our first
Okay,
episode.
you know what? I'm gonna put you in a room with Bob Gurr and see what happens.
All
I
right.
bet you start like drooling and foaming at the mouth.
He'd probably have
You're
a
sitting
stroke
in-
with all the shit I'm talking. All right.
If you were to
What's
say
that?
these
Or
things
you would be
to
too
Bob-
scared to talk this shit in front of him.
You weren't-
All I'm picturing is Lou
Lewis,
and
if-
Bob Gurr, and then the Happy Gilmore moment with who's the Price is Right guy, where
Price is
he beats
Right,
his
bitch.
ass. Yes,
Bob?
yes.
Okay. Lewis, if you were to talk shit to Bob Gurr, I would slap you. I'm not even gonna lie.
Why?
Because you don't do that to a legend.
This is so true. Amanda's comment is so true, though. Bringing
Yeah.
it full circle. This is literally what started this show was me and Lewis arguing about Bob Gurr and Tony Baxter. So it is kind of funny to come back to the last episode of this show.
Thanks, Piano Rob. He said it'll get better. Appreciate that. Joe, you can't use that yet. Next show.
God, isn't Joey the funniest, Courtney?
Absolutely.
And he's so cute, dude. He's so cute, right?
He's kind
Oh,
of cute,
thank you.
isn't he?
Where's this going?
Yeah. Little
Hmm.
Buddha man.
Little Buddha man.
Where in the park, Seek and Find image scavenger hunt games will have you exploring theme parks like never before. But this is not like your childhood scavenger hunts. There are no word-based lists of items to find or a binder of riddles, trivia, math, or counting. Our games contain cards with images of details that can be found throughout the park just by walking around. You can play on your own schedule, so you don't have to worry about long lines, height requirements, or health concerns. Need help finding an image? We've got you covered, with hints and answers on each card so you're never left wondering where in the park the image can be found. Use the Scan Before Playing card to reveal an alternate image if one of the cards in your pack is currently hidden or removed from the park. Order today to get game packs for your next visits to the Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World theme parks. But the fun doesn't stop there. We also have games for Universal Studios in Hollywood and Florida, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags, SeaWorld, and more. Ready to experience your favorite theme parks in a whole new way? Go to www.whereinthepark.com/WaltzAPT podcasts to get 10% off your order. A portion of the sale will also go to support the Waltz Apartment podcast. Want $10 off your order instead? Visit patreon.com/WaltzAPT podcast to become a lamplighter. With so much more to discover, the only question is, do you know where in the park?
That's
Y'all
pretty
started
classic. Lewis just turns on the commercial.
Y'all-
Doesn't
Hey,
even
y'all started dropping that L word. I was like, oh, yep, and cut.
Wait, I got one question. Is Eddie Murphy a Disney legend?
Eddie Murphy? No. Mm-mm.
You sure
And,
about
and
that?
honestly, after the
No.
tragedy of Haunted Mansion, he should not be.
I mean, I think it might be a thing where they have to accept it. Like, they can say no to being a Disney legend.
Who would say
Thomas asked. I'm sorry,
People
Tim
have
asked.
said no.
Will Bob Iger be a Disney legend? If
Bob-
we're going by
Bob
the
Iger
record, no.
1.0 had an opportunity to do it, not
So did Michael
2.0.
Eisner, but Michael Eisner isn't. I'm just saying. Lou, you have
Eddie
more
Murphy
topics?
is a Disney legend. He was inducted in 2019.
Who?
19?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
Yes.
Why? We should take that away from him.
oh my
I mean,
God,
he's not-
no.
I don't have him on the list.
See, that's why I'm saying that list is not complete because, and I know it's
Yeah, I
from
mean-
D23.com,
You
but
should
Bill
trust the
Rogers and
archives.
No, it's from the
Camille Dixon is on
archives. It's
there.
from the Disney archives.
Well, it's the same thing as D23.com. But like Bill Rogers and Camille Dixon, the voices of Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, aren't on there. And I met them at a Disney Legend event. So I know for a fact that they are. And they're not on this list.
Yep. So it's 2019.
All right. Louis, what
All
else we'll talk about?
So our second and last topic of the show is going to bring this full circle. So we did some Instagram polls on our.
You said it's going to be an hour and a half show, and this is going to be an hour-long topic?
When you guys start hearing the
Let's go,
topic
baby.
and getting
Let's
down this
go.
rabbit hole of banter, absolutely.
Let's go. Sam's
All right,
kind of
so-
spicy. I'm going to put Sam and Courtney in a room. They're kind of going at it. I like it. Let's
With
go.
Bob Gurr, so they can talk smack on Bob Gurr.
Yeah, right.
We wouldn't talk. Neither of us would talk
No,
smack on Bob Gurr. That's you, bro.
We're both in favor of Bob Gurr being one.
So
Not
to
Lewis.
give all the viewers that are watching tonight, this entire journey.
Sam's
is-
kind of spicy tonight. Sam also just found out that we have a 2-hour delay tomorrow, and that includes teachers. So I'm good. Let's
Oh,
go.
nice.
Nice. So this entire journey, you've heard me, Sean, David jumping into it now. The conversations of problems with Disney, but yet they still come, they still pay, all of that. So yeah, so we went to Instagram to do a poll on this because myself, David, and Sean watched a YouTube video where all of us had some pretty different opinions. So we took it to Instagram to get the viewers' feedback. So some of the questions we had. First question we had was, how do you feel about the reservation system? So I'm curious. We'll start with David. David, we had two options to choose from. Wish it was gone. Don't mind it. Which one do you think was leaned in the favor?
Don't mind it.
Okay. Sam?
Don't mind it.
Courtney?
Don't mind it.
Sean?
Well, I know the answer, so I'm not going to answer.
All right.
I know the answer too because I voted.
So it was 52 to 48% saying wish it was gone.
Oh, I don't mind it. I've
That's
never had a
not
problem getting a day
Pretty
that I
much a
wanted.
tie.
Have
Yeah.
you ever seen an overcrowded park that makes you want to vomit because you're shoulder to shoulder? I would rather have a
Definitely.
reservation system and not get access to a park that I want to go to on that
And yet,
day.
and yet,
It's
Agree.
still
Give me
crowded.
the
It's still
Mirage.
crowded as hell.
It is. It
It's
is.
crowded, but it is
But
not
it's
shoulder
not
to
the same.
shoulder.
It is not
is
the
not
same.
the
I'll
same.
take the Mirage, even if it doesn't work or have
You know
problems.
what? Tell me I can't go to the park that day. That's fine. Tell me it's going to be over capacity that day. It's fine.
Ever since they put in the reservation system, I have not been in a shoulder to shoulder crowd. I don't know what they're talking about, but it has not been shoulder to shoulder like it was.
it's not shoulder to
pre-pandemic.
shoulder. I will give you that. It's not shoulder to shoulder, but everything else is still just as long wait for everything.
Fine.
Okay.
I got G plus. I don't give a care.
It's just as long of a wait, but I am able to get down Main Street.
Yeah.
Like
I don't mind
let's
sitting
think,
and
let's think
waiting.
about Christmas Day crowds,
Yeah.
New Year's Eve crowds, Thanksgiving Day crowds. It's just like before reservation systems, it was disgusting.
But yet, most of our followers that voted went the opposite.
It's statistically a tie.
That's fine.
basically.
Because everybody was mad about the reservation system because they want to go when they want to go. That's the only reason why. I've never had a problem getting a reservation, so I don't give a crap.
I would rather not have people touching me.
So the next
And
So the next one was-
and you use all your reservations and plan it out right, then you don't have a problem, and you'll get every day that you want.
I like I said last show, out of all the days I've tried to go, I think only less than half of them were days that I was able to go.
Well, that's based on your pass. I have the unlimited one, so
Yep.
except I can't go Christmas Day or New Year's Day. That's the only days I can't go.
Yep.
I
And
love
for a
this
family
show.
of 5, I am stuck to the Disney dollar because it is stupid expensive.
She's like,
Kevin says,
I'm
okay,
becoming
Kevin,
a Courtney
it-
Stan.
but here's the thing.
Just-
So
I'm
Kevin
loving
said
this
it kills some spontaneous visits.
It does.
for some-
It does kill some of them, but I've
But
also
for
had,
someone who's not local,
Yeah.
plan in advance.
Yes. But I've also had friends that have been able to find them the night before or the day of. So there is some spontaneity left. You can do it.
What?
Spontaneity.
Shut up. Spontaneity.
She says
It was like that
spontaneity.
DJ Khaled meme. I'm my own dictionary.
Make up my own words.
She said spontaneity, and you're gonna hush and accept it.
I mean, I can't say anything. I had to take down a poll from yesterday because I put Fanasty on Fanasty Land on Instagram. So I can't say nothing.
That's on the Spicy Link page.
Yeah. All right. So the next question we brought up was Genie Plus. Do you purchase it when you go?
Hang on a second. Before anyone answers, let me just read Amanda's comment. It's long lines because of Genie Plus. Genie Plus is trash and should be eliminated immediately. The lines would be so much faster without them. I disagree.
I disagree.
Okay, so I've not used Genie Plus, but I loved booking my fast passes 90
Yep.
with 90 days.
I agree.
Yeah,
Like
90 days.
I
And you will be able to do that again at Walt Disney World. You
so
will
like
be able to book them before.
I prefer that system. Let me get my fast passes. Like y'all had Max Pass
Do you
and
mind
like
paying for it?
paper.
Do-
I would
don't
pay
like
for fast
paying.
passes.
Yeah.
I don't like paying for it, but like, would I pay for it to be able to book my fast passes 90 days in advance? Hell yes, I would.
And the lines would be faster because there's no stopping them. It's just a consistent movement.
Actually, to be honest, I went all the time during the pandemic. I went 5 days. I paid for 5 days. The lines were just as long as they are now with Genie Plus and without
during
it.
the pandemic,
You were
they had
waiting an hour then, you're waiting an hour now.
But the
See,
pandemic,
but
they had to
with
move
fast-
at 50%.
It's still the same amount of people. So how would the line go faster?
It's not.
It's
If
the
it's
same
not the
amount
same
of people on the line. You're
It's not
just
the same.
stopping
You have
the,
a-
Can you,
if you
can
have
you
a-
get your
you're
money back
stopping the
if
standby line.
You're waiting just like general lines?
Yeah, so think about this. So you're in a line that's a half hour long over here, which you're not paying for, right? Then you have this other one that's being fed into it. If you feed them together, the line's is going to be just as long. It doesn't matter
No,
either
because
way.
They're
'Cause you're
taking,
feeding- you're gonna be
50 or so
funneling-
people and just shoving them in when you've already been in line. So if you're almost at the front, they shove 50 people in front, 50 people in front of you. You now have to stop. Yes, if
So
you're at
what?
the
You
very
wait
end,
an extra 10
But
to
the
15 minutes?
no, but the point is, Lewis, is that it's the same amount of people. So if you have 50 people in the standby line and 25 people in the lightning lane, it's still 75 people waiting.
And that was why Fast Pass worked, because there
you're
was
at
a
the
limited
end.
amount of Fast Passes that were available. If you
If
didn't
you're
get
at
it, you
the
didn't
end,
get it.
If you're at the end, that makes sense. But if you're right at, say, the cutoff where they're at to switch over, you're right there, you're next, and they shove 25 people in front of you, guess what?
But you're still
Depending on the
waiting.
ride.
You're waiting no
So
matter
you
what.
wait an extra 2 to 3 minutes
those
while they
people
let
were
all
in the
those
line
people
with you,
in.
you'd be
It's
waiting
fine.
that extra time anyway.
I've
Depending
been
on the
on both
ride,
sides of it.
depending on
those
what
people
ride
were
you're
in
on,
the-
you're waiting almost another 20 minutes.
If those
Bring
people
back
were
Fast
in the
Pass
line,
Plus.
if those people were in the line with you from the beginning, it's going to be the same wait.
Let's put up Amanda's comment
from the
here.
beginning, yes.
Okay.
From the
They take
beginning,
more
absolutely.
Genie Plus people than the standby line. For Soren, for example, Genie was all the way to Smoke Jumpers and standby was 80 minutes and no switchback. They take 30 Genie people for every 6 standby people.
They should. They're paying for it.
Yeah, they're paying for it.
Okay, but also, like, you want to keep your experience for general park guests who have no idea what is happening pretty decent so that they keep coming back to the parks.
So I'll tell you what.
I agree that they should
that's
let more
me.
than 6 in, for sure.
I'll tell you right now, I'm I didn't know the Genie Plus any of this stuff here.
There
I'm
he
that
goes. He
general
said,
park
look
guy.
at Kevin says it's
But
80,
if I saw 30
split
people
sometimes.
got pushed ahead of me because they figured out there's this cool thing called Genie Plus, guess what I'm doing on my next trip? I'm buying.
Yeah, you're getting Genie Plus.
I'm getting
What does
Genie
80 and
Plus.
20 equal?
100.
It's still going to be 100 people no matter what.
It depends on where you're at in the line.
Doesn't really, though.
Yes, it does. Because think about it, like Amanda just said, if you're on Soaring about to be discharged to your ride vehicle and they take a whole nother 30, that's a ride vehicle.
They don't do that though. You get merged before you even get to the ride vehicle.
If there was no fast pass lane, you'd have the same 100 people in the line. The line will be just as long. Everyone will have to wait.
Wait. So you're saying no fast pass lane?
I'm a fan of it. I'm just saying. People say that the line would go faster if there was no fast lane. I disagree. It's going to be the same amount of people no matter what.
I'm like every time that I've had every time I've ever so when I used Fast Pass Plus before the pandemic, I walked onto whatever ride I was going on. Literally walked on. You get 3 of those. You get 3 of those, right?
Well, yeah, and then you go.
So then everyone, and then you can book more, one at a time after that.
Yeah.
But everyone in the park has access to 3 of those.
Yes.
You are spreading your experiences out throughout the park better. Bring back,
and everybody has the same playing level. They're all on the same level. Everybody could buy Genie Plus. It just depends on whether you choose to or not. Whether you want to spend that money. It just if you want to spend that money elsewhere, that's fine. Like everybody has the same thing.
If you go to the park at noon and purchase Genie Plus, all your Genie Plus passes are late at night, so you don't get the same. You don't get the same playing field.
I get what you're saying.
That's why bring it. But that's why I said bring back Fast Pass Plus. Forget Genie Plus. Charge for Fast Pass Plus if you have to. Whatever. Make it part of your booking. Make it
But that was only at Walt Disney World, Sam. Disneyland never worked that way though. Not even
maybe they need to do that then. Maybe they need to do it then.
Yeah.
Because it worked. It worked at Walt Disney World. Give people the opportunity to plan out what rides are most important to them 90 days in advance. Have them log in, book those experiences for their family. If you don't get it, you don't get it. SOL, book something else then.
There's too many passes to remember. This is insane. What you said, Max? What's a Max Pass?
Max Pass was the first iteration back in the day.
After paper fast passes at Disneyland.
So Max Pass was just being able to do it on your phone.
Max Pass was a better system than Genie Plus. I will say.
Works the same.
But Fast Pass Plus.
Well, no, Max Pass, you could go on something more than once.
I'm just saying, like Fast Pass Plus worked hella good at Walt Disney World.
Okay.
It worked perfectly at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I'm not disparaging that because I used it, but I'm just saying at Disneyland it was never.
Carlos said, "I remember pounding the app after every ride." Carlos is a friend who is local to Walt Disney World. Carlos, would you bring back Fast Pass Plus? And he's a travel agent. So, Carlos, would you bring back Fast Pass Plus? Amanda says maybe. Amanda says she's a simpleton. Stand in the line and wait. No, Amanda, I don't want to wait for some things because, like, 3
Yeah.
hours to get on.
I'm not waiting.
He said, look at Carlos said yes in a heartbeat. He would bring back Fast Pass Plus. Just bring Fast Pass Plus to both parks.
Well, it's never
And
going
try
to
it
change
out.
now
I
because you're making 30 to 40 bucks on this from each person.
Okay, so
Never
I
gonna
don't
change
care.
now.
So here's my thing. I don't care. Charge me for Fast Pass Plus. Charge me for that system. Let me book my attractions 90 days in advance.
Well, they are going to starting this year. You are going to get that back, but I'm just.
I know, but I'm saying do that for Disneyland. Let
But
people book their.
how are they
They're
going to
not
allow
gonna do
that?
that.
How are they
Well,
going to
why
let that
wouldn't
be
they?
at Disneyland?
Why
Because
wouldn't they?
the price has changed depending on the complexity of the park. So how can you
Well,
purchase
same
it
thing
as
in
much-
Walt Disney World. It changes on the daily influx too.
Yeah, they
but
changed theirs
I
too.
mean, and it
Yeah.
would be it'll
Like,
just
I would
be the
even
price that
pay
it is
for
on
it.
the day you get it.
I will pay for Fast Pass Plus. I will pay
Would you guys?
for it.
Would any of you pay the $200 to go on to the front of every single line? Would any of you do
No.
that?
I've paid like I've paid like $60 to do it at like
Universal?
Six Flags Great
I
America.
did it once
so
at
Okay,
yeah.
Universal. and
60,
every day
yeah.
it,
I'm not paying
yeah.
200. No.
Yeah.
Hell no.
No, not for a family of like
No,
Right.
I would not pay for just
No.
me and Kelly $200 to do it.
no,
but
absolutely not.
I mean, 30 to 35, yeah.
Now, if it was like paying
Price is
$200
right.
for like a family of 5 to do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's different. Yeah, for sure. Lily bringing the
Amanda-
spicy topics.
Amanda says I'd put $200 towards a tour or something. I agree, Amanda.
I agree with that.
I would pay
I bring it
$35
up
for a day.
because I bring it up, and
Well,
the reason
good,
why I
that's
brought
what
this
you're
up is
paying now.
because I mean, obviously our social media. I mean, granted, I mean only about 32 people voted in total, but I mean, we all agree with it, and that's where I get to my whole different view on pixie dusters. But I'll get to that on our next part of it. So,
Are we pixie dusting right now, Lou?
I don't see how.
Okay.
So I have a different view on pixie dust, and I'll get to that. But what we
The
are
old
doing
Lewis,
right now.
the old Lewis would say yes.
Yeah.
But
guarantee
what we are doing right now confirms my theory of 3. And I'll get to that in a second. So the next one is Genie plus helpful to guess. This one was an interesting one because we had 39 yes, 39 no, and 22 kind of. And I think this one really resonates with our last question that we got. So I'm gonna come back to this one. Then it said this one was kind of what sparked this conversation. Do you enjoy content creators that share their honest opinions, good or bad? 24. Well, there was one that said as long as it's always positive. Nobody voted for that, which I was super thankful for. 24% said yes, but more positive than negative. 29% said depends on the approach, and 47% said do you. Which
Good
I
for those
Be
people.
you, do you.
Because here's the
Okay.
thing. If you are somebody who is taking time out of your life to create content about a theme park, you love that theme park.
Sean,
So-
share your opinion on that, man.
So do you be
Not
you?
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Unless
think
you want
I
to be a
agree.
negative one and
Wait.
just
So
bring
you
it down.
think there are people who pay for an annual pass to go to Disneyland to bitch and moan about it?
I just watched a video
Because
Lewis
it
sent to us
sells.
3 days ago about a guy
Hey.
who was in the park and said, you know, I love Disney, blah, blah, blah. Disney's my favorite thing, blah, blah, blah. But Disney, you have a bunch of problems, and here they are.
Yeah, because
No,
there are
that's
a
him
bunch
being
of problems.
his. Yeah.
That's him
What's
being
that?
Yeah,
him.
but
That's
here's the thing.
That's his opinion.
People
He
pay-
loves Disney enough to give Disney his money.
He loves
And he's
Disney enough to
saying-
try to make money off Disney and then bash it.
Exactly. He's the equivalent to a tabloid.
Hold on.
Magazine. They
Hold
hold
on
on
Joey
to
said,
it for the
Pop,
negative.
pop,
What
pop,
happens-
Corliss.
Wait a minute. I mean, he's sitting there being passionate about it. I mean, it's funny, especially coming from a Raiders fan. I mean, they're never
Man.
doing good, and you love
Amanda
them.
said,
Wow.
and that guy was 100% right in that video. So
I'm just
Sean,
saying. I mean, I think that he's just.
I disagree with
passionate.
anyone that tries to make money off something and then bashes it. You have a freaking problem. I have
Okay,
a
but here's
problem
the
with
thing.
that.
Well,
Here's
if
the
it's
thing.
totally
Passionate or
all the way
being passionate?
negative bashing
Sean.
it just to bash it, then yes. But if he's saying he loves it and gives some reasons why he loves it,
And he
and
said-
then
He
also
didn't,
points
though.
out
He gave
He didn't
5
give any
reasons of
reasons.
why
He
it
said,
wasn't
I
he's
love
good.
saying, I love it, but please do better so I can continue to love it.
Nah.
But no, I'm not going to watch a video about somebody completely bashing it. But also, it would be like I'm not going to watch a video of somebody who's never been there and then bash the hell out of it. That's the video I'm not going to watch because I've been there more than you.
Here's the thing. He has an annual pass, right? He gives Disney his money.
Yeah, for credibility.
There's a YouTube channel trying to make money off of it.
He has to
make money. He has to have credibility.
He's a stakeholder. He is a stakeholder, so his opinions are valid.
What you just said is why he did it. What you just said. Everything he says is valid because, like what Courtney said, I'm not going to watch anyone who's not going who's commenting outside the club. You have to be inside the club for me to even. So what you just said is exactly why he did it. Not because he loved it, because he wants to be he wants credibility, but he also knows that people love people talking shit about things. That's why tabloids
I don't know.
exist.
I see him as a stakeholder who is very passionate about something. So, because I watched the video.
Based off of what? The fact that he just bought a ticket?
I don't know.
No. He bought an annual pass, David. He has an annual pass. So
I mean,
people who just buy an annual pass just to go so that they have something.
But he's an annual pass. He goes regularly. So he is a vested stakeholder. He's saying, like, I love Disney, but here are the problems that I see with Disney. Just like right now. Okay, like we don't
Lewis
make
does the same thing.
But all of us are right now. All of us do it all the time. We may not we're not the most we don't sit here and bash Disney consistently. Lewis does.
I can tell you the difference right now.
I agree with
you.
You
guys say you love Disney, and then you back it up with what you love about Disney and everything else. I did not see that at all in that video.
Have you watched his other videos?
I'm not gonna. No, I'll be honest.
Because he does that in his other videos. He does that in his other videos.
Okay,
show me a link, and I'll happily watch it.
The problem I have with it, and I'll be honest with you, is we've done this show for 3.5 years. Yeah, we're critical and we make our comments, but we have never done a complete show and the 300, 400, 500 episodes that we've done where we just take the whole time to talk shit about the reason that we're all here.
If Lewis had his way, we would.
That's what this show is
It's not.
I feel like this show is
the
that.
thing is, Lewis,
No, it's not.
Lewis
We come back and
What?
No, because wait. I will say it's because there is such a balance on this show. It's not just Lewis being Lewis, and it's not just Sean being Sean. It's not just David being David.
Right.
There is a balance of differing opinions. But at the end of the day, we are also not just sitting here saying like Disney is shit. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. We also give our opinions on how things can improve, right?
Mm-hmm.
If here's the thing, if you don't have a suggestion on how something can be better, keep your damn mouth shut. If you don't have a possible solution, if you don't have because if you cannot even get it in your mindset, if you can't get it in your mind's eye of how something can improve, you have no rhetoric to speak on it.
No.
Because okay, David, so if you're going to be like, something is absolute shit, but I don't know how to fix it, how do you expect other people to know how to fix it?
Do any of you think Disney is absolute shit?
I don't think Disney's absolute shit.
No, not at all.
I think there are things, there's room for improvement in everything.
Improvement to everything, yes.
Disney has tons of room for improvement. And we talk about it all the time.
I would never sign off or create or do an episode where we just talk about every problem we have with Disney and nothing else.
No, and you haven't, and that's
what I'm saying. That's the problem I have with that video. That's the problem I have.
That's one video on someone's channel.
But that's what sparked this whole conversation. That when Lewis gave us his video the other night and asked our opinion.
That's the context in which we're having this conversation about. We were presented with one video to review and to give our opinion and have this conversation tonight, and that's what we're doing.
You have all these content creators out there. I mean, we can name them. You have freaking Provost Park Pass. Who we've had on the show. We've had
Megan, the Magical Millennial.
Who
had on the show.
Yeah, Megan. It has made critical points, but has not done like a video.
Well, she's not made critical points since
Right, but the point I don't know.
I mean, the difference between them and an individual YouTuber, so to say, is they have. I mean, not to bash any YouTuber, but some of these YouTubers have created small family businesses out of this, so they're not going to bash them or be real because guess what? That puts the food on the table. If I'm an individual YouTuber, I'm only responsible for myself. So therefore, it's a little
And here's
easier
the
for me.
thing. When
So
you
wait, are
become
you
part of-
saying? Wait,
Here,
so are
so,
you
like, when
saying
Disney-
if Disney like started backing and you are making money off of this, your perspective would change?
Mine wouldn't, but I do think YouTubers out
Okay.
there, we have.
Yeah,
a-
there
we,
are
I mean,
there are tons. There are tons.
we don't have a special guest on the
1000%
show no more because of that issue.
I 1000% agree that there are pixie dusters in the Disney community, and this is the true sense of pixie dusters. They will not say anything negative against Disney because they are afraid of the reputation that it will ruin with the Disney company, and they know Disney will never sign checks for them if they speak the truth about their authentic opinions.
And they don't get to go to those special premieres and then get the free swag.
They don't
and
get the
split
press
that on the
passes.
sideline. I mean,
But there
That's
are some
unfortunate
that do
enough.
speak their minds and
Sucks for
still
them.
do get the press passes. A Skywalking Through Neverland is one of them. They're not always, everything's all good with Disney. They give criticism where criticism is due, and they still get the press passes. So I don't.
there are
They're-
some.
they're
Then
not
is that even the true thing? Is that I actually wanted to ask that because what Courtney just said, is that fear a real thing, or that's just a perception that people have? If you are honestly critical, but you're definitely just being honest and fair, is Disney really going to come after you with a bully puppet and ban you and not give you?
Disney
haven't
won't sign
yet.
your checks. They won't sign your checks.
Hey, with that same
Where does that come from?
Okay,
let's
with
talk
that
about
same
let's talk
perception,
about
though,
people who are Disney social media, like the actual people that Disney hires to be their social media influencers, like Tim Tracker. Let's talk about Tim Tracker.
Oh,
How often do you hear Tim? How often do you hear Tim Tracker being negative?
Well, he didn't work for Disney for a little, or partner with Disney for a little while because
But
of some of
since
the
he's
scandals that
partnered,
happened,
since
so.
he's partnered with Disney, like
He
in his
doesn't
time-
usually say bad things about anybody, really, even with Universal.
Okay.
So,
But okay, then let's go. Who else? I'm trying to think of who other. Chris Spokesman was for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't talk about Disney poorly. Was allowed to make music videos in the park. Like, benefited his career as a musician to be able to have Disney in his pocket by not talking shit about Disney. So here's the thing. If Disney benefits you and your career and the growth that you're trying to make as an influencer, you keep your damn mouth shut for the most part. But if you are an authentic fan who is like, I love Disney, but there are changes that need to happen in order for these parks to continue to be something valuable and successful, Disney's not going to write your checks. Disney's not going to sign your checks. That's how it goes.
Is that really? Because all you just said was they made a choice. They, in their head, they said, I'm not going to talk smack about Disney because
I'm pretty sure it says in their contracts that they can't say anything negative against Disney because the mom.
That's where I'm getting at. Disney actually have that. That's verifiable that they wrote that.
So there was a Disney moms. So there was a Disney moms panel, and that was the case. It was a Disney moms panel parks podcast, and that was the case. And they could not say anything that showed Disney in a negative light or painted Disney in a negative light. So guess what I did? I went and started a moms panel that was honest.
So actually, with that same thought process, though, David, is it actually said that that this YouTuber is being negative to make money, or are they doing it to genuinely put the word out to help fix Disney?
Was that video monetized?
Huh?
Was that video he put out monetized?
Probably.
Then yes, he's doing it to make money.
That's not true because I mean, if that's the case, then our other side project is the same.
I like Kevin's question. Can we talk about Kevin's question? Sean, I'm gonna start with you. What points did that guy make that you disagree with? Other than the fact that the entire episode was negative, did he say anything in particular that you do not think is the truth?
Yeah, he
that
said
you do not think can
he
improve?
said like 3 of the questions Lewis asked. The reservation system sucks. What were the other things he said?
The being on your phone too much, that everything takes your phone. You're required to use your phone for almost everything.
Yeah.
I'm not against wagons and disability people, but I can't stand.
You can't have wagons. There's too many people in wheelchairs.
Come on.
Well, that's just
hold on. That's not what he said. Hold on.
He said there's too many wagons in the park.
He said, "I'm not." He came out with it's like.
I'm sorry,
hey,
but your
really
7-year-old should not be in a stroller.
But I'm going to say that
should be walking. I'll be that mom.
He said that
Who
He
says
said
your
that he's
7-year-old
not
should not
against
be in a stroller?
if anybody is needing the wheelchairs on that, he's not against that. But what he
there's
was
too
saying,
many
though,
of them.
there's too many wagons, and that Disney
said
has
both.
laxed on their rule when they came out right before the pandemic
Why
about
are there
sizing.
wagons at all?
I mean,
Like
I
they
know
was-
there's not supposed to be wagons.
Why are there
I mean,
wagons
they
at
have
all?
been lax since the pandemic came
And
back.
that's what he's
so
saying.
I
He
will
did
say-
not. He did not try to discriminate or put any negative to wheelchairs. He
No,
did
he
say
said
too many wagons.
he did say if it's people need a wheelchair, and then he's the first one there to help someone if they, and I agree with that and I appreciate that. But he also, in the same breath, said that there's too many wheelchairs and scooters in the
Yeah,
park.
He
that
said
I don't
wagons.
like.
Wagons.
Sure
He
the
did
hell
not say too many wheelchairs.
Yes, he did. Yes,
swore
he
he
did.
said-
He
We
said,
can
Okay.
go back and
where
look.
he said,
I did not
wagons,
hear
wheelchairs, scooters,
either.
all of them. And then he went on
Okay.
to say, I'm
He
pretty
grouped
sure
them
some of these
together.
people don't even really need these things and stuff. That's his defense for saying there's too many of this stuff in the
I
park.
mean, I'll be completely honest and say there are too many goddamn kids in strollers who could be walking.
I agree with that.
Sorry, your 7-year-old should not be in a stroller. If they can't walk, you pick them up and you carry them back to the tram or back to the monorail or wherever the hell you're taking them, and take them back to the resort, give them a nap, give their legs a rest, and bring them back to the parks, because that's the responsible thing to do as a parent. The responsible thing to do as a parent is to not keep your kids in the parks 24/7. Sorry.
Here's the thing. Okay, so this is where it comes down to ability bashing and stuff. We don't know what people's lives or families' dynamics are set up as. That kid could be suffering from a chronic disease or anything else.
But
I'm gonna
then
always
here's the thing.
defend
Here's
that
the thing.
we
That
need to
kid,
stay in our own lanes
Okay,
and stuff when it comes
but
to
also
that.
and
they're
that kid
supposed
will
to
have
have
a
a tag on
disability
it.
pass. They will have.
Yeah, they're
they will
supposed to have a tag
disability
on it
pass.
if they need it for disabilities. They're supposed to have a
Yes.
tag.
Because then they also get ride transfers. Here's the
That's
thing. If
wow.
you're,
They're supposed to
here's
wear
the-
like a scarlet letter saying, "Hey,
No,
I'm
no.
disabled."
No, a
They get
tag
them
on
the stroller.
Okay,
Because then
okay.
that kid also then gets help with transfers from their stroller to rides.
It's
get
like
it
having
now.
a wheelchair and you
understand
have
now.
the tag and the name on the back.
Yeah.
If they need it for
And
disabilities,
like,
they're
and
supposed
some,
to have a
yeah,
tag.
like I get it. Like if your kid,
Has
like, if
everyone
your
in
kid
here
has-
seen that video that we're talking about?
Yes,
I did
we
not
have.
watch it.
I've
Okay.
watched the video, but like, okay, so like if you have a kid with autism and they have like sensory processing, like,
Mhm.
and they are like they get overwhelmed, and like when I took my kid in a stroller, we had a stroller that would completely cover, block out everything because she did not do well with all of the sensory stuff when she was overwhelmed. But as a responsible parent, I left the parks midday and took my kid to take a nap. I took my kid to get a break from the parks. My kid didn't need to be in the parks 24/7 because that's not what you do as a responsible parent if your kid cannot handle that. You do what is best for your child as a parent. Do I think that some 9-year-olds, some 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds need to be in strollers? Absolutely. If they have a reason to be in the strollers. If your kid just doesn't want to walk, or if your kid's legs are tired, take your kid back to the resort for a nap. Take your kid
I hear you,
to
Sam.
go for a swim.
I sincerely hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But I put this out there. Who are you to make that judgment call about what you're seeing and what you're witnessing?
Here's the thing, Disney. Here's the thing, Disney doesn't. But the thing is, Disney makes it really, really, really easy for you to walk up to a counter and say, "We need this accommodation for my child." If you can't walk up to that counter and make that and say, "My child needs this accommodation," they don't ask for medical documentation. They don't ask for anything. You show up and you say, "My child needs this accommodation," and they give you that accommodation for your child. They give you an ADA accommodation.
You're not allowed to ask. If they say they need it, they need it. It's
So-
HIPAA.
I
You're
get
not
that
allowed
part.
to
Yeah,
ask.
anyone can say, "Hey," and they just have to comply.
And I'm
So-
okay with that. I'm okay with that. If you are willing to like get the ADA pass for your child, beautiful. If you are just like, we paid so much money to be in the parks for this long, and I don't want to leave the parks, so I'm going to make my 9-year-old nap in a stroller. No, absolutely not.
So bringing it back to this now, I'm curious on the question. Why is it more okay for a YouTube creator to be more positive than being the equal amount of negative?
It's not. You should give your authentic opinion no matter what
Yeah.
you agree or disagree. Like what you agree
So-
and you disagree with, give your authentic opinion.
I agree. You should always give your authentic opinion.
If
and
you're
I'm gonna
being
answer that.
overly positive, you are
as
fake.
you saw my comment when after I watched that video, after I told you I was going to watch it, I responded simply, I don't disagree with some of his criticism, what he says and stuff. the way he delivers that's just straight. It seemed like rage bashing and stuff of the park and stuff. I don't care if he sandwiched it with niceties. It still was a shit sandwich of a video that was delivered and stuff. I'm not saying I disagree with anything he said. I told you that in the comments. He may have some valid points about this stuff. The way he delivered it is what I took issue with and stuff.
But that's his approach to his channel, like whatever. Then you just decide as a like you just say like, I don't like this dude. I'm not going to watch his shit anymore. Yeah.
Right. I'm just going off of what content I was given to review.
I get that. I get that. But like, I totally get that, David. But it's like all things that we consume. If we don't like it, then we just don't continue to watch it, right?
Well, the video 2 days before that was ripping apart Galaxy's Edge.
Well, Galaxy's Edge does have a little bit of problems.
I mean, so
there's some wiggle room there where Galaxy's Edge needs to needs some improvement.
It needs more shade too. It's too hot on.
Let's talk about the shade needed in Toy Story Land.
Yes, I am a fan of shade.
Oh my god,
it's too hot and bad too with those 3 suns.
So now we have the YouTuber that dropped a negative video, but then the title of it alone. 3 of the 5 hosts on here agree with just the title alone. I mean, not saying whatever was.
Courtney doesn't know what the title is.
The whole Star Wars, the stuff was wrong with Galaxy's Edge, and we're like, well, I mean, not even knowing the context, but based off that title alone, we all. 3 of us just said, well, I mean,
to be completely honest, if you had a YouTube episode called "There's Something Wrong with Sam," I would agree with that too. There's something wrong with everything.
So we have one more question, but we'll squeeze in our getaway today break real quick. And
my point was like totally not taken. But that's okay.
What? Sean, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna. It's all good. I think I'm overthinking it, like I do a lot of things. I honest that you're doing something against what you're building.
Against what you're receiving monetary compensation for.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so what if
Joey said it a little while ago. He said Tom Corliss. Tom Corliss actually said on one of his podcasts, I think a while back, he was bitching that he doesn't get the passes and the perks.
Okay,
and Lewis,
Sean, let's talk about this. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this guy does get passes and perks from Disney?
I don't know what he does. No. My point is he has a podcast. He has a YouTube channel based on Disney.
And does Disney write his checks?
I don't care if they write his checks. He's doing this to make money off of them.
He could just be making money off of bitching about them.
What's that?
Maybe he's just doing this to make money off of bitching about them.
Then don't say in the very first thing.
Maybe he's actually
don't say the very first thing you say. Don't say, Disney, I really love you and I'm a huge fan, always been a huge fan. But let's talk about all the problems I have with you.
Is he a Disney Parks fan?
But then again, I go back to the football reference. Hey, we really love our teams, but you sucked that game. I mean, what's the difference?
Okay. I'm a Cubs fan. Do you really want me to get into that topic?
Yeah, I'm a Raider fan. We know that. It is what it is. We can move on to the next thing. It's fine.
I'm just saying with the whole Galaxy's Edge thing is they promised us like actually living in Galaxy's Edge and with characters always roaming. And now you have to wait for Mando to come out at a certain time. You may or may not catch Fennec. You may or may not catch Boba Fett. And they haven't really made it like you could make it your own. And a lot of people don't have the magic bands to do the bounty hunting, and it takes time. And a lot of people are just about the rides, but they haven't given us the atmosphere that they've given Avengers Campus. And that's the biggest issue I have with Galaxy's Edge. So like to say that something's wrong with Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, because Disney didn't deliver on their promise on that thing. And
let me ask you a question, Courtney.
What? Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? You and Joey just started a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And you're based on doing stuff about stuff that you guys like, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, one day you want to make money off doing that, right? Because that's the reason you're doing this?
Maybe, yeah.
So would you do a complete episode would you and Joey do an episode of why something sucks for an entire video?
I wouldn't just sit there and shit bash it on it.
That's all I'm asking. No. That was my only point.
But here's my thing. Okay, so will you shit bash it? And then give suggestions on how you think it could be improved.
I could say that no, Disney didn't promise. Disney promised us a walk around experience for Galaxy's Edge, and they haven't done it yet. But here's how you can.
That takes it back to what I said earlier. If
you know what this
don't critique if you can't give a suggestion on how to improve it.
So you know what this guy's idea was?
Put your money where your mouth is.
he listed 5 things that he said was wrong, and then he said, "You know what, Disney? Here's what you should do: have your executives and stuff go in the park as a normal person." That was his fix to it.
That's what
That
Walt
is
said.
exactly
One of
what
them,
Walt
but-
would have told them to do. If you, that is a major issue. Sorry, I'm yelling. That is a major issue in the Disney parks right now, is that every Imagineer had to walk through the parks and experience the park as a guest.
How do we know that's not happening?
Yeah,
If it is, they're freaking blind.
That's what this newbie is question. How do you know that's not happening?
If
Because
it is,
social media exists, and we would see Imagineers getting photoshopped just like celebrities in the parks.
but here's my thing. Also,
Well, not everybody knows what they look like, Lewis. So
well, okay.
I mean, not all of them, but those fans that know who they are looking for them and watching. I mean, come on now. Tony
I know
Baxter
exactly
can't
who
be in
they
the
are.
park without
But I
being,
mean, that is one way to fix it, but I would not straight up saying that's the only way to fix it.
It's
I
not
mean,
the only way. It's not the only way, but it isn't like an integral part of what Walt's expectations were for his Imagineers. And that is like, how hard is it? How hard is that for an Imagineer to get their ass up and walk through a park and experience the park as a guest? They don't have to pay for it. Just get out there, go experience it. And guess what? If you're experiencing it and the thing is, they're supposed to be interactive. You know what? We should be having Brian Collins in on this conversation. Sean, we need to get Brian Collins on this conversation. Can we do that? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly probably text him. No, he's in Florida, so it's after midnight there. But I will text him and I will be like, come in on this conversation, because when he was a show writer, it was an expectation. He just went. So he wrote a lot of the Great Movie Ride. Even when they replaced Great Movie Ride with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, he showed up and wanted to experience what his show was replaced with. And that is something that I think is not consistently happening enough. We've gone away from Walt's ideals. And honestly, if these Imagineers are walking through their attractions, if they're walking through their lands, if they're walking through the things that they've done and they're like, everything is perfect, that's ego speaking, and they need their asses checked by their directors. And it's not happening enough. It is not happening enough, in my opinion.
I think you guys celebritize the Imagineers a little too much, as far as they would get paparazzi and put on social media.
But here's the thing: I am friends with current Imagineers.
That's cool. That's fine.
They are not walking through the parks. They are
Okay.
not. They are not experiencing their attractions while guests are in the park experiencing it. Stand in a queue for 2.5 hours with the people who are.
You don't have to have Genie Plus.
They can have a VIP bag and they can go through it. What are you talking about?
Then fine. Whatever. Experience it while guests are in the park. Go back to the ideals that the success of the parks were built on.
Well, I think most of that is because, the current higher ups aren't giving Imagineers
these are
the right
operations. Yes, Courtney.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that. It's like the current operations managers are not giving Imagineers the right amount of respect so that they can go and do those things. They're just expecting them to put out a product and then move on to the next thing. It doesn't matter.
And they're not even giving creative control over the projects that they're working on. They are given this cookie cutter approach that they need to fit into. And
And you're saying it didn't used to be that way.
Lewis, can we tell? No, it was never that way. And that
is
why
they were given full reign over their projects. That's why
it literally.
We know this for sure, though. Like, I mean,
for sure.
I'm new to this. That's why I'm saying,
David,
Imagineers
watch the Imagineering story.
Yeah, and you'll notice episodes 1 through 3, where that you hear about it, and then all of a sudden it shifts to becoming a marketing scheme. We have this, and there's no more like. Watch that and watch Waking Sleeping Beauty's Castle.
Yeah,
and you'll see the timeline switch.
Do I have permission?
The first 3 episodes are the ones with the original Imagineers who
I need to ask
no one can hold a candle to.
I need to wait. I need to ask Lewis for permission. Can I tell people about what we're meeting about after this?
No,
not yet. Wait, because that way we can iron out all the wrinkles.
I
of it
will
so we
watch.
know
I
what
will
we're
watch that because I am now incredibly curious about
Yeah,
why
no,
that.
watch the
why that
David,
Imagineering
would
wait,
shift.
wait, David.
It doesn't make
David.
sense to me why that would shift.
Wait, David. Honestly,
Walt
I'm the right person to have a conversation with this about.
Okay.
Like-
died. That's why it changed.
No, absolutely.
No.
That's not
This
true.
is a
Not
recent
true.
change.
You're
Not
out of your
true.
mind.
Not
No,
true.
because his brother
No.
was still there when
Roy
Walt died,
O.
and he would have
Disney
made sure.
and Roy E. Disney both had the expectation.
No,
For
Roy
that
E's
to
an
happen.
idiot.
Michael Eisner.
No.
Michael Eisner even had that expectation. Literally that expectation stopped probably around like
You're basically saying-
like
Oh.
2004,
Iger.
2005.
You're saying
David,
Iger
when you
is
watch it,
original
the
one.
first 2 episodes, Walt was alive. The other 4, he wasn't. You'll see the
Okay.
difference.
David, if you want to group watch this, like literally, I will send you a group watch link and we can watch it together. And if you have questions, you could be like, "Yo, Sam," and we can chat during it because
Okay.
I get so geeked out over it. So we actually did an Imagineering. Lewis and I did an Imagineering watch party with our Patreons, and it was great. Like if any of our Patreons are in here and they're like, "Hey, let's talk about it," tell David it was great. Lewis,
I got you. But just so we end on time, still we got one more thing to talk about.
sorry you
So-
got me started on Imagineering.
I know.
Let Jen
So-
watch with us.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna cut you guys off like last time. I'm gonna do the getaway to daybreak, and then we'll come in with our last 2 pieces.
Okay.
So here we go.
Well, hello, and welcome to Let's Get to Know Our Sponsor. Getaway Today has been helping Disney vacation dreams come true since 1990. Whether you choose to visit the happiest place on earth or travel to Orlando and beyond, they want to help you. Need to know the best hotel in the area? What theme park ticket should you buy? Have a last minute change? No worries. Their travel experts are always here to help. Want to book a cruise and don't know where to start? Hey, they can help with that too. They will help you find the perfect cruise for your vacation, whether it is your first time or you're a well-seasoned cruiser. When you book your cruise with one of the Getaway Today's experts, you will have a dedicated agent to help you every step of the way. They take care of the details so you can have the most fun. Getaway Today has layaway, peace of mind travel, allowing you to cancel or make changes up to 72 hours in advance. You will always have the most up-to-date vacation information, both pre-arrival and upon your welcome. Getaway Today will guarantee the best prices with no hidden fees. And every time you book through Getaway Today, they will donate a portion back to a charitable organization in your area. And so far, over $4.5 million has been donated. So click the link in our show notes to start your Disney vacation planning for more information and the best deals. Tell them Walt's Apartment sent you. And until next time, enjoy the view from Walt's Apartment.
You okay there, Lewis?
Need a few more seconds.
Okay,
We need a
wait.
million more seconds.
Carlos said I was still working at Walt Disney World when Al Weiss was in charge, and he had open Animal Kingdom in downtown Disney Westside. So, Carlos, do you know if Imagineers were expected to walk through the parks then? If they were expected to experience the parks as guests?
So our last subject that we have on here, and the last questions that came up,
He said yes, they were.
So it says, so the last one we had, this one sparked from our Wednesday show. Does Disney have a problem? Which is an Instagram question that we had. Now we talked about it on our Wednesday show, where most of us said no. Well, according to our followers on Instagram, 67% said yes, and 33% said no. The following slide, I asked if you said yes, what are some of the problems? And some of the problems that were shared, and I'll run through them real quick. A few of them said marketing. One said too much planning is needed to book a trip. Too much phone usage needed for Genie and mobile ordering. Another one said they've lost sight of the guest experience, make money but listen to guests. Another one said it's too expensive. And the other one said it's not a problem, but they could lean harder into adult-only resorts and park times, which was an interesting one. And then another one said creativity and storytelling. So
You already
a
know
lot
where
of-
I'm going.
there's a lot of that. But at the same time, this is where I started really thinking about it, and this is kind of where I had the rule of three. And I think there are three lenses of Disney critiquers, and this is kind of what we've been talking about today. I mean, Sean was mentioning I don't agree with people bashing Disney and making money off of it while going to Disney. Then you heard Sam yelling at the mic like it was a Jerry Springer episode about all things Imagineering, okay? But then you have, like Courtney was sharing, I have no problem with the reservation system. I get Genie Plus, and I've tried to sit there and figure that out. And I think the problem is there's three lenses that we use to judge Disney. It's a business lens. So if it makes money, if it financially works, and it works, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Whether it's great or trash, if it makes money and is continuing to grease the wheel of money, not a problem. There's the business lens. Then there's that creative lens, which is I think the YouTuber we were just watching, and very much what Sam was talking about. You are I don't care how much money it takes or how much money it makes, do it right. Do it the best you can do it, no matter the outcome. And then
That's the core of Imagineering.
And then I think there's the fan lens. There's the fan lens, and that's I enjoy Disney. I have my small little pet peeves with it, but ultimately, no matter what they give me, whether they spend $10 million to make an episode or $100 million to make an episode, I am thoroughly satisfied. And I noticed that, and that's why I have a whole different approach on Pixie Dusters, because you guys are the fans of Disney. You guys are the ones that are putting a lot of that butter on the bread to make sure it keeps going. I think fans are the biggest spokesperson. The creative lens is the hardest. You are I told Sean this. The creative lens, you're the Simon Cowell of American Idol. You want music to be sung so perfectly that if it's not done right in the first few seconds, you're not buying it at all. And then there's the business lens, where I think if it makes money, oh well, it's making money. Why fix what's not broken? And I think that is a lot of our challenges on Undisputed, is because the fact that, again, we all love Disney, but I think we all have a different view on why Disney is Disney, meaning on the aspect of critiquing it. Obviously, we have all our own personal reasons why we enjoy Disney, but I think when it comes to critiquing Disney, we all wear one of those three lenses. So does Disney have a problem? No. I think it depends on what lens you're wearing. Because if you were to ask someone wearing the creative lens, I think absolutely they're going to say 99-1 that they have a problem. If you're looking at the business lens, it's 50-50 right down the middle. They do have problems, but then they don't have problems. And I think if you're on the fans lens, it's the opposite. You're 99 saying they don't have a problem with your 1%, and your 1% is probably because you forgot your backpack in your car. It's not really Disney's problem, but you're going to say it's Disney's problem. So I have a problem with that Disney has a problem one now, because I don't think they have a problem depending on the lens you're looking at.
Can I put up Carlos?
Disney's what you make it.
Carlos said changes were made on the spot. During the soft opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom, I witnessed Jane Woodall making a comment to an Imagineer that there should have been more apes represented in the Tree of Life, and they immediately began to carve a huge gorilla face into the tree, even though it was basically finished. And Al Weiss had no problem with it, because the people who were in charge of the attractions, the Imagineers, the people who had a vested interest in the things that were happening in the parks, were given creative control, and those things were valued. The consumers were valued. Right now, we are not valued. We are just people who show up and pay the money. Sorry.
Shareholders are valued.
Shareholders are valued, but how often are the shareholders in the parks?
You're right. Look, I don't know what category I fall under, but I'll tell you right now, I'll say this and I'll repeat this. Disney fans are the problem with Disney. You guys literally will really complain viscerally about Disney and still give them money and pay for everything that they ask you to pay for, begrudgingly or not and stuff. You're still paying the money. And it's really a unique situation because I mentioned one of my analogies about you won't go to a restaurant that keeps serving you bad food. I can create a million different scenarios like Nike themselves, Oregon, my backyard, Nike campus and everything. If Nike start making shit shoes, you break your ankles when you play basketball in them, the threading comes apart and everything else. Guess what? No one's paying hundreds of dollars for Nikes anymore. Nike is about to go bankrupt and go on the verge of business because their fan base saying we're done. You need to fix this, or we're going to Adidas. We're going to go to some other your competitors and stuff. That's not what's happening with Disney. So I don't know where that categorized me as far as identifying the problem with Disney, but Disney's going to get away with what the market will tolerate, period, because they're a corporate entity.
I think that puts you in the business class there, sir.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I was at with the three lenses. I mean, I really do think that a lot of people critique it throughout the lens they are wearing. And I was trying to say would there be any other lenses? And I really don't think so. I think it's business, creative, and a fan. I mean, I can't think of any other in between that doesn't really categorize you in one of those three. And I think that's why a lot of our differences come from not a difference of Disney, just a difference of how we are judging and critiquing Disney. So that puts an end to my my pixie dusting rant as we close out Disputed for. I really can't. I can't get mad. I mean, I guess the way David put it, I guess I could get mad, but at the same time, I mean, there's still that deep passion for Disney as I have and as any other person has. So who am I to bash you for that?
Well, like I was saying before Carlos's comment came up, Disney is what you make it. That's the bottom line. It's how you look at it and how you want to take it in and how you want to adapt to all these challenges. If you think it's a challenge, I know how to fix a challenge if there's a challenge. Some people don't. So Disney is what you make it, and it's the reason. But yes, I agree. Sam is just going on and she's talking and she doesn't know what to say because she's muted.
I'm muted. I'm saying it is okay. So like Disney is what you make it. But as a consumer, there are things that Disney could do differently.
And why do you still go, Sam?
I mean, I will go and I'm going to continue. What? Because it is like I just agree with you. I said it is what you make it. It doesn't mean that it can't be improved.
Yeah,
that's the point I was trying to make.
I don't get the question.
What question?
Why do you still go?
Why do you still go?
Exactly. If you're going to complain about it, why still go and give them your money?
I'm not going to go and say everything is wrong. I'm saying there's room for improvement. But I am also willing to be vocal to the right people and say, like you want me to text Bob Chapek right now and be like, yo, this shit sucks. Because I will. I've done it before. You want me to go email Bob Iger? Because I will.
Cool, get him on.
I mean, I feel like it's a relationship situation. I mean, me and my wife.
We bash him. Of course,
Amanda. He might though. Like, he's not working for the company.
Well, Chapek might now. I mean, he doesn't work there anymore, so maybe he would like to come on.
Okay, so he might. So, but like Amanda just said, you can both love something and see improvements in it. You want to see it, but here's the thing. I'm going to take this to my teacher perspective. I love my kids. Do they have room for growth? Yes. Do I have room for growth as an educator? Yes. Do my students love me? Yes. Is there room for me to grow? Yes. There's room for everyone and everything to grow. There is always improvements that can be made to make our experiences in this life better.
So you have a student in your class, as a teacher, who is completely disrupting the flow of other kids learning constantly all the time. And you complain about this is driving you bonkers. Your other kids their education is suffering and stuff. You just say, well, I don't like it, but I'm going to continue to participate in this and do this.
No, I make changes to accommodate that child's behavior, build a relationship with them, understand exactly what their specific needs are, and then we grow together from there. Bam.
And not only that, I mean,
Understand your consumers.
but there are people that are tapping out, but at the same time, there are young adults that are tapping in. So it's like, hey, I mean, for instance, I mean, I've been very vocal on the show that there are some Disney movies. I was like, I'm not going to go see it. I'll wait till theaters. That's me slowly tapping out of that branch of Disney. I don't run to the theaters to go see the Disney movies anymore because honestly, they haven't been that good. So for me,
well, that goes to the part of marketing. They have a big marketing issue.
some of it's marketing,
Yes,
I would give you that, and then some of it is just the story is absolute garbage.
Well, I'll give you that too, because Luca was absolute garbage, though.
100%. So for me, I've tapped out of that. And eventually, people do tap out of all things Disney. But I also think that it takes some time, and they are losing people as fast as they are gaining people. But then again, going to the business theme, that's just flatlining. If you are just growing what you've already lost, you're no longer growing. You're just staying stagnant.
But also with the young people coming in, they don't have the attention span for it anymore. They just don't.
Well, I mean,
they don't even have the work ethic for it anymore.
Well, I mean,
the younger generation does not have the work ethic that we have. So I worry about the Imagineers going forward. I really do.
But at the same time, these young people, think about it. Disney has been raising the prices. Not that it's something new, and I won't get down that rabbit hole. They've been doing that, but in this kind of goes a little off trail. But in the economy we live in, parents don't even get a chance to take their kids to that one Disney trip that everybody talks about. So for a lot of these younger generations, they didn't grow up with that passion of we went to Disney that one time, I remember it, and that's it. And so there's no hunger for it. So there's that problem too, but that's not Disney's problem. That's an economy problem. I mean, it's not affordable to take a family of 4 to Disneyland, even for one trip, unless you're saving up for a lot. So I mean, I don't think that's the younger generation's fault. I think it's just the very mild amount of exposure to it. I mean, when I was younger, I mean, there was always like the 2 big trips that we went, and that was it. Till I got older and I got to go more. But I don't think kids today are very exposed to Disney.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying that the attention span and the way that this work ethic is, if we're looking down the line for new Imagineers, new even corporate employees, they don't have the attention span for that anymore. So going down this line, I worry about all companies, especially Disney.
Why do you need attention span? I'm not throwing shade at Sam here, but our lives surround 45-second clip videos. I mean, what attention span do we need nowadays?
Wait, are you throwing shade
a 3-hour movie?
Wait, are you throwing shade at me because of my ADHD, bro?
No, I'm talking about like TikTok. I mean, it's let's go quick. I mean,
no, but that's what I'm saying is we're so used to the 45 seconds. Like kids can't wait in line anymore. They can't even do.
They should get Genie Plus then.
Well, yeah, so but I'm just saying.
They adapt to them.
But the main thing is it's on like the movie side of it. Like kids don't sit through movies. They don't sit through shows anymore. They don't sit through anything that's not 45 seconds. And also then comes the Imagineering side of it. And we don't have the same work ethic that we did when you guys were young. You know what I mean? Or even when I was a little younger or now.
You calling me old?
I have more work ethic than the Gen Z right now.
She just called me old.
I'm calling myself old.
So
because I worry about all the business companies, all of Disney, because going down further, they can't, they don't have the work ethic to do it.
I got you. But before we go down the rabbit hole, and speaking of rabbit hole, I do want to take a quick moment to acknowledge and kind of bring down the temperature a little bit. So I don't mean to sideline it, but February 5th will be our first show as the Mad Tea Party. And we are changing the name of UnDIZsputed. We'll be working on a new intro, stuff like that. Trying to get rich by Disney as we are talking. No, I'm just playing. So we are working on that. We are working on the way the show format's going to work. It's still going to be just as spicy as it was tonight, but with a little bit more theming and fun kind of categories and stuff like that, where we're not just hitting the same topics. And that's kind of why we're closing out with this battle of the century. You know, they still come. They suck, but they're still coming. So this will probably be the last time you hear about that. But February 5th, we'll be starting our
Doubt
match.
it.
Doubt it.
Liz, you'll always bring it up.
I have
Like,
so many more thoughts.
Liz hates everything.
I don't hate everything. I mean, gosh.
no, you love to play devil's advocate for everything.
Lewis hates
No,
me.
Lewis
It's
has
fine.
changed. I will say this before you end this. Lewis, you came up with Main Street. What was it? Main Street View?
Main Street View.
And then we switched to Undisputed. 2 amazing shows. You kicked ass with these, so congratulations on these. I understand the reasoning for changing it, which was I was a big catalyst in the reason that we're changing everything. So I appreciate you. I mean, you put together an awesome show here, so I commend you for that. And you don't get that enough. So I just want to tell you, kick-ass job. Keep on doing what you're doing.
It's a team effort, man. I mean, if you guys
it's a team effort, but every team has a leader, and on this show, you're the leader. So we appreciate you. I just want to tell you that. So,
well, I appreciate that, but it's not just me. But with that, like always, don't ever forget.